Hi, I'm Rajiv Raja and you're watching me on Talkative Tidbits. I read a very beautiful line about jazz by a great jazz critic who wrote a book on jazz, and it said, "Jazz is always the concern of the minority." Jazz is a superior form of music, very much like Indian classical or Western classical. It's a classic form of music, and you will find that all classic forms of music actually work as inspiration for all popular forms of music. So if you really look at electronic or you look at rap, a lot of inspiration would originally come from jazz, because the whole concept of scatting in jazz, which essentially is right? That's a form of rap, right? It's just rap has words to it. So yeah, jazz is like I would say like a mother lode, and from that comes various popular forms of music, because jazz is a little more complex in its harmonies, in its melodies, in its improvisation. So the common listener may not be as interested in jazz or excited by jazz as more popular forms of music such as rap or hip hop or EDM or pop music, etc., etc. But all of them will have some inspiration, some learnings from jazz. Jazz would have never existed unless the African came into America and the African musical sensibilities actually merged with the American white music sensibilities, and these two came together to form jazz. So jazz is really an amalgamation and a cohesion of two different cultures of Africa and America coming together and forming a whole new form of music which was called jazz. Actually not true. If you listen to all early Bollywood, whether it's R.D. Burman or any of the early composers, a lot of them used jazz. A lot of them used the horn section. A lot of them used the concept of swing, which is so all the elements were used, and the elements of jazz has been a constant inspiration for any composer in Bollywood. If you even take Rahman and you take a lot of his great work, he would be the first to say that his inspiration has been, jazz has been a great inspiration for him. So it is used, but the thing is, it cannot be used in the form that it is used in America, because that's not something that the Indian audiences are used to. So therefore, again, it is a fusion of sorts, where you are taking sensibilities from different musical cultures, but delivering it in a way that the Indian ear and the Indian masses would actually love. So that's also, I think, a tribute to the very innovative mindset of our Bollywood composers, who are able to take in different musical inputs from across the world, but deliver it in the flavor that India likes. Oh, that's a long list. I would say to start getting a fundamental understanding of jazz, listen to the blues first. Listen to the masters. Listen to B.B. King. Listen to Muddy Waters. Listen to John Mayall. Listen to Howling Wolf. Listen to all the blues masters, because the blues is really let us say the baby of jazz. Yeah. So you need to start learning the blues and developing your ear for the sensibilities of the blues. Once you get into that, you can start moving into popular jazz standards, standards such as Summertime or Somewhere Over the Rainbow, etc., which are very, very melodic, beautiful jazz standards. And then you will start understanding that the complex harmonies that jazz use, and then you can graduate to the work of really hardcore jazz masters like Dizzy Gillespie or Charlie Parker or John Coltrane, Miles Davis, Chick Corea, Herbie Hancock. The list is endless. I mean, it's a whole new world of jazz musicians that you could listen to. But you need to, I think, have a mentor, be guided into the proper listening, so you get a true understanding of what this great music is all about. Well, I'm Indian. I was not born in America. So all my learnings of jazz have been learnings by listening to LPs in the old days, vinyls, and then borrowing cassettes from friends. So it was listening to the music of another culture. So I could never call myself a jazz musician, because I believe that you have to have lived in that culture and actually imbibed the expression of that culture to be really called a jazz musician. But I would just love to be called a world musician, and my musical expression is bringing my Indian sensibilities, my understanding of Indian classical, of Indian music, with certain elements of jazz which are also common to Indian music. Elements such as improvisation, for example. So Indian classical music has improvisation, and so has jazz. And therefore, I found a common ground between our whole very rich Indian tradition of music and also the very rich tradition of jazz music. Over the years, I sort of evolved a style which then became my band. Today it's called the Rajiv Raja Combine, and we are basically an Indo-jazz band.